2 years ago, I saw Anatomy of a Fall, and I loved it so much and had so much to say about it that I was inspired to create this channel and make my first video. Last year I saw Challengers, and while I don't have a video on it, it's safe to say that it had me quite obsessed. And this year, I've been waiting. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of movies that I really liked, plenty that I've seen multiple times, ranging from the major contenders like Sinners or Sentimental Value, to the more Tyler core films like 28 Years Later or Twinless or The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. Go watch that one if you haven't. But I was waiting all year for a movie to come along and absolutely floor me and infect my brain the way my favorite movies of all time do. And coming in right at the buzzer, I got Marty Supreme. Now, I was lucky enough to be in attendance for the world premiere at its New York Film Festival secret screening, and it was the single most unforgettable movie experience I've ever had. I've never felt a crowd buzzing with anticipation like that, and probably never will again. And as the credits rolled and the euphoria started to wear off, a lone thought emerged. Marty Supreme, to me, is a masterpiece. But festival hype is certainly a real thing, and even though I truly did love the film and I thought about it for 2+ months since the premiere, I had to see it again just to be sure. Well, I've now seen it 2 more times, and this is the one. At its core, it's a Safdie movie for sure. If you've seen Uncut Gems and Good Time, you kinda know what you're getting into. Marty Supreme has the same formula of chaos and electric anxiety, protagonists making increasingly terrible decisions and dealing with increasingly dire consequences. If you vibe with those movies, you should already be sold on Marty Supreme. It's very effective at all the same things as those films. I like Good Time and I love Uncut Gems, but why is it that Marty Supreme is the one that I can't stop thinking about? What's the difference? Well, for one, the scale of Marty Supreme is massive. This movie had a $75 million budget, and you can see it. It feels like an epic, with all the lengths that Marty goes to and the situations he finds himself in while attempting to pursue his table tennis dreams. Seriously, take the most hectic sequences of Uncut Gems or Good Time, and then imagine if that chaos was cranked up to an 11, and then for good measure, all wrapped up inside of a really thrilling ping pong story. That's Marty Supreme. It's also significantly funnier than Good Time or Uncut Gems, as Timothée Chalamet is bouncing off everyone and chewing up every scene. Speaking of Chalamet, nothing against Pattinson or Sandler, who both give fantastic performances in their respective movies, but this is just another level. Marty Supreme is the most alive a film has felt to me in a long time, and so much of that life is coming from Chalamet. He brings so much magnetism and charisma and energy to this role. Time will tell, but watching this movie truly feels like you're watching an all-time iconic character be born in real time. And when you consider that this is an actor who has been very open about wanting to be great, playing a character who goes on this propulsive odyssey to achieve greatness, and then turning in an undeniable performance like he does and carrying the entire film on his back, that's movie star shit. But the biggest difference between Marty Supreme and those films is the ending. Just a warning, we're about to get into spoiler territory, so if you haven't seen Marty Supreme yet, or Good Time or Uncut Gems for that matter, go watch them and then come back. But before we get into Marty Supreme's ending, we need to talk about an under-discussed Safdie staple. And that's a weaponized charm. Robert Pattinson, Adam Sandler, and Timothée Chalamet were all cast against type. Before Good Time, Pattinson was a heartthrob, Sandler was and still is a major comedic actor, and Chalamet, while he has showcased way more range than either of his predecessors had prior to working with the Safdies, has never played this much of an asshole. These characters are not good people. They do not make good decisions, they are actively harming the people closest to them. They should be wholly unlikable. But because the audience sees Howard Ratner, and inevitably associates him with all the lovable goofballs Adam Sandler has played over his career, you can't help but root for him anyway. When Connie convinces his disabled brother to help rob a bank at the very start of Good Time, the assumption isn't that he's just a bad person. The assumption is that he's desperate and misguided, because that's not some heartless criminal, that's Robert Pattinson. We watch these characters make horrible decision after horrible decision, and we still can't stop watching because their charm has been weaponized against us. It's a tool to keep us invested. And because these characters are played by actors we know only as heroes, surely things will work out for them. So when the consequences catch up to Connie and Howard's actions and they don't come out on top, it's a shock, even though it's completely deserved. But for Marty Mauser, things more or less do work out. Despite all of the horrible decisions Marty makes, the film ends on a complex and nuanced but overall positive note. And the reason why this works, whereas a happy ending for Howard or Connie wouldn't really have worked, is really simple. Marty learns. There comes a point in all the chaos where Marty realizes that he needs to take responsibility for his actions and become a better person. And the primary catalyst for this growth is Odessa Zion's Rachel. Rachel is someone who understands Marty in ways that a lot of the other side characters don't. She's known him since she was a child, she wants to help him, she wants him to help her, she just wants to be part of his life, and because she's his childhood friend, she knows how to go about making that happen. She even pulls out some really drastic manipulation tactics that Marty would probably admire if they weren't being used on him. But Rachel starts out as just another person for Marty to walk all over. He has sex with her in the very first scene, and we later find out she's pregnant, presumably with his child. He manipulates her into participating in a very flimsy scam attempt involving the return of a lost dog. A scam which in classic Safdie fashion does not succeed and results in escalating consequences in which Rachel's life is put in jeopardy multiple times and results in her being shot and hospitalized. It would be very easy for Rachel to remain as this one-dimensional doormat of a character, but she's not. She is a character with her own life and her own struggles which are very much front and center for most of the back half of the film. And when she's hospitalized, that's the initial push that Marty needs to realize that she matters to him. The baby matters to him, and he needs to own that. I don't think the Marty from earlier in the film would call the hospital to check on Rachel's status. The Marty from earlier in the film is in complete denial that he's the father of Rachel's child, and brushes the news aside because he only cares about becoming the best table tennis player in the world. He goes from a person with complete tunnel vision on his dream to someone who abandons that dream to be a responsible father. And that growth does not happen without Rachel. You can make the argument that she's the soul of the entire film. She's what causes Marty to change and evolve into the heroic character we're familiar with Chalamet playing. He gets that satisfying, powerful, cathartic ending that we want. An ending that resonates because it's earned. Connie in Good Time and Howard in Uncut Gems don't learn, don't grow, so they don't deserve a happy ending. Good Time ends with arrest, Uncut Gems ends with death, and Marty Supreme ends with life. So the style and scale of the chaos, the magnetism of Chalamet's performance, the growth of his character, all culminating in an immensely powerful final shot, is why Marty Supreme has carved out its own space in my brain like no other 2025 film has. I can't wait to watch it again.